You're listening to another Woodshop podcast, the okayest podcast of its type. Your hosts are Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks and Peter Kapar of P-Trees Workshop. You can find them as well as the podcast on your favorite social media platforms.
Welcome to episode 175 of another Woodshop podcast, where this week we're joined by another Nebraska good old boy.
Yeah.
Though he might be local to Dan, he's close to my heart. When the pandemic hit, he decided to give up his Jeep hobby in lieu of something a little cheaper and less time consuming, like woodworking. So he started his shop and named it after his biggest hero. No, it's not Dan or myself, unfortunately. It's his daughter, who is, fun fact, a half ladybug. And after a few years, he spent an entire weekend with us in the mountains, and I can think of no better person to recap Maker Camp than with Braden Boex from LittleBug Woodworking. Start on the last part.
You were so close to nailing the whole thing.
Braden is here.
That was really cool until the end, and then
I say we just.
And then it was also cool, but
that's fine. Well, whatever. Well, that's the last time I give you a cool intro. Whatever.
Fix it in post.
You know what? Who else can fix it in post? Our patrons.
Our patrons, yes, they can fix it in
terrible
post.
Segue. Braden, you weren't yes and.
Big shout out to all our patrons. You help us keep the lights on it right now. You're paying for this red light behind me. Thank you very much. If you want to join the patrons over in the Matt Army, go to another. Okay, so first of all,
I'll do that part. You do the names.
Let's just get this out of the way real quick. I came home from Maker Camp with COVID, so if you thought I couldn't talk well before, buckle up, Buttercup. You're in for a treat. All right. Want to give a shout out to all of our VIP patrons, and they are as follows: Victor R. Gemma, Matthew Hoff of Matthews Woodworking, Nip Bryn Woodworking. I imagine that's
no
Nick
relation.
Matt Maynard of Patriotic Pines, Steve Iadarola, Bill Burkle, WTV Woodworking, Malcolm over at Bossa Nova Woodworks, Justin at Calvary Customs, Patrick Ginsel, Michael Flickinger, Max and Mindy Coons of Stubby K Studio, and the one and only Jacob Miller of A Sweet Shop. Thank you to each and every one of you. Let me see if I can do this again. If you want to join the Matt Army, go over to patreon.com/anotherwoodshop podcast, and you get signed up over there. That wasn't so bad. I did that. Okay.
That was great.
Did it okay.
That was good. Yeah. And guys, we are all still, I don't know about you, I'm still recovering from Maker Camp. That was
I have a lot to recover from.
So. That was a weekend and a half. Ooh, you. And
something.
So there's a lot of excitement. We'll get into that shortly, but first let's start with Braden, who is joining us this week. And Braden, for those of you that don't know who you are, who the heck do you think you are?
Who the hell are
what
you?
Makes you so? Who do you think you are? You think you're so special? What makes you special?
What
is your weakest strength and your strongest weakness? Go.
Well, my biggest, weakest, most strengthful part is my honesty. Oh, wait, no, this isn't a job interview.
Not with that attitude.
I'm Braden Boex. I got into woodworking because I thought it would be cheaper than a car hobby during COVID. Literally the next day, plywood shot up to $100 a sheet, and I realized that I had already thrown myself into the depths.
Mistakes were made.
By the way, when I read that, I rolled out loud. Like out loud.
It was like daily. It was like the next day. Oh, hey, here you go. But
I can't find new springs in an exhaust. Let me see a sheet of plywood. Oh my God, $100.
Since that time, I have amassed enough tools that, frankly, if I still had a car hobby, I couldn't even fit it in the garage anyway. It is now just a shop. I mess with CNC. I mess with drum sanding and sawing and screwdrivering and I don't know, just whatever I can get my hands on.
Love that those are genres.
Screwdrivering
and drum sanding like it's a hobby.
I thought this was gonna be a lot cooler, and then I just realized I don't know. I just wing it. I'm just here to have fun.
That's what I do every week, Braden.
I could totally imagine a car guy like upgrading his drum sander every week with a new part. Like
got a new camshaft with a Hemi and the gear ratios and ported stuff.
I actually LS swapped my Supermax.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
I actually
It
kinda
just
know what that means.
launches the wood across the room.
Oh, Dan's does that too.
I didn't even have to LS swap it.
Dan is the only man I know, like to this day, that has actually had a drum sander shoot a piece of wood out at him.
A violent kickback on the drum sander.
Like-
Thank you very much.
What? How?
The people
science.
at Guinness World Records are going to be coming over and interviewing me soon.
Any day now.
Any day.
And what else? You do something else that's kind of very Braden specific, like outdoor games, outdoor stuff.
Yeah, I
Lawn darts.
I got started doing cornhole boards when I started all this, and it's kind of spiraled into a cornhole business. And
Cornhole Mega Mart, if you will.
now I make so many cornhole boards that I just hate making cornhole boards.
So you are cornholio. You need more TP for your wood shop.
Yes.
Oh, Braden might be too young for that one, Dan.
He is.
I don't think he
That's
gets it.
fine.
I don't think he gets it. Dude, but that's it's so nice to have you on. We've had several like COVID woodworkers that started around because of the pandemic. And it's crazy to see how big these businesses have grown, how big these accounts have grown. Like people have just leaned into it. So man, it's such a heartwarming thing to see another person just like, hey, I like want a new hobby, and like not leave it off to the side. Like you leaned into it.
Yeah.
Now, what else are you leaning into? Like, like what else do you do the other way? Talk about the thing. Pitch yourself. You're on a podcast. Come on, man.
Listen,
I can't hand it to you.
I don't want to take away from your guys' podcast, but
trust me, you're not.
I am part of a fairly large podcast. Large, comparative
more
to not
more
having
hosts
one.
than we do. Don't get ahead of yourself.
We go by size of host options. So
We have more hosts per capita than people.
I am one of the main hosts of Sawdust Talk, which is live on Instagram at 9 p.m. every single week.
What coast would that be 9 p.m. on?
Central Standard Time.
That's not a coast.
We don't coast. That's literally Nebraska's tagline. Did you know that? Nebraska, we don't coast.
No, we recently changed it, Dan. We changed it.
Oh, they got rid of that?
Nebraska.
That's good because I hated it.
Nebraska.
Sorry.
It's not for everybody.
Did we
Basically,
change?
yeah.
Did it
it's
literally
Nebraska.
change that? I would not.
Nebraska, it's not for everybody. And then they show all these pictures of things that don't look like anything that anybody would expect from Nebraska. Most of the photos were actually ripped off from the South Dakota state website.
Just
but we don't talk
AI
about
generated.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that though.
Well, that's great. All right, well, let's jump into let's jump into our subject. I guess we don't have anything else, right? Like that's our main thing for today. We're gonna chat Braden up. So Braden, for those of you that don't know, first of all, we're at Maker Camp last week. And if you don't know that we were there, you were under a rock for the last 6 weeks because we've literally been sponsored by them and we're talking about it every single day. It's one of our favorite events all year. We love it. And Braden was our housemate. We're sorority sisters all weekend. It was great. And we thought no better person to recap Maker Camp with than the guy that literally slept 6 feet away from me.
Yeah.
He slept by my door.
Yes, he did.
did.
Every morning. And then as soon as you walked out, he was like, "Oh, you're there.
You're there."
I didn't think you were gonna
tail whacked.
I didn't think you were gonna
I
come
scare
out."
easily. And there was a lot of woods. We were I was scared for the exact reasons that I didn't go to Maker Camp last year.
Yes, tell
Last
that
year
story.
I had met Dan like 3 weeks prior to Maker Camp last year, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I just met
Come to
you.
the
This
woods
is
with me in New
crazy.
York."
But come to the woods with no cell service with me, with power tools and stuff." And I was like, "No,
upstate New York.
I've seen every single horror movie ever. There's no way I'm going to do that." And I didn't go, and I almost immediately regretted it. But now that I know Dan and more specifically Pete, I felt safe. I just felt safe.
Which
So
is
I
odd.
went
Because
into
I
the
was the red
middle-
flag of the relationship. Me. I'm the one you had to worry about.
Well, you
went
are
into
Polish.
the middle of the woods with no cell service in upstate New York, and I survived. I was
You know
not
what,
murdered.
Braden? It's really interesting you bring up scary things in the middle of the woods because if I remember correctly, you were the Sasquatch of this night. You were the one that may have scared the entire household in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So, Dan, would you like to take this story?
Yeah,
Because I wake up to Emma telling me that there may have been someone in the house in the middle of the night.
So
Go.
Pete, Emma, I, and Braden, we all shared an Airbnb because the accommodations
family
are not up to par. Anyway, we shared it like one big family. And I was the first one to wake up. What was that? After the first night, I think?
It was the first night. And I'm just going to preface this with, we leaned into it the night before.
Yeah, we all partook.
There was not a drink undrunk. There was not a bottle unfinished.
We all partook of the libations.
I was off keto that night.
Yes.
Keto. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm the first one to wake up in the morning. And well, first of all, I woke up at like 4 a.m. because old man, have to wake up, gotta
pee.
Urinate.
Yeah.
I go in the bathroom. I didn't think anything of it. I just went in the bathroom, did my business, and left and went back to bed.
20 minutes later, he's done.
And then I woke up again at 7 and nobody's awake yet. And I go back to the bathroom and the shower door is open and the floor is soaking wet. And I'm like, somebody took a shower. Okay. Then I leave. I go out into the kitchen. I'm making coffee. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Pete and Emma are still asleep. And they actually have a bathroom in their room because they have
we have the master suite.
They have the master suite because they sleep together. Braden's in his room. I can hear him snoring. I didn't shower. Who the hell showered? So Emma finally wakes up like 30 minutes later. And I'm like, Emma, we need to talk because I don't know what's going on here. And I told her the situation. She goes, you want me to message the Airbnb owners? I'm like, maybe we wait a little bit just because I don't know what's going on. Because at that time, we were thinking maybe the Airbnb owners were living in the basement and they snuck up and took a shower. Like, how creepy is that?
Let's also preface this with Emma has unintentionally become both our agent and our den mother for the podcast. Like she keeps us in line and also gets us gigs. Like literally in charge, like running the show.
Emma was ready to message the Airbnb.
I got it. Yeah, I could talk to
because the Airbnb was listed as a whole house.
Yeah,
meaning
she was going
to be.
But there was locked doors, which usually cleaning supplies or whatever,
So Pete finally stumbles out of the room, and we tell him about what
early,
and he's like, So anyway, back to Emma. Back to Emma. I was like, maybe don't message him. Let's talk to everybody after they wake up. So we wait.
Interrogation style.
Braden finally wakes up
at 11 p.m.
Braden. Did you shower and then go back to bed like some weirdo? Oh yeah, I did that. That's what I do.
No.
He sleep showers.
He sold it. He just said it with the confidence of a psychopath. He was like, yeah. And he just left me hanging. Like, it was the most normal answer. Like, yeah, I showered between 4 and 7 a.m.
And then went back to bed. Full on snoring. You could hear the walls rattle as you walked by his room. So I was like, there's no way he got up.
Meanwhile, half the house is on edge thinking that we got raided last night. Like this is summer camp.
Listen, some people raid the fridge. Some people raid the fridge when they're drunk. I just like to be clean. I just like a good shower.
Okay. I mean, you learn something new every day or something. That's a different one.
So good on you. You guys learned because nobody questioned my middle of the night shower the next day. So clearly we got on we all got on the same page.
It was normal at that point. It was like, oh, it's Braden. Okay.
You gotta warn us, man. You gotta let us know.
It almost started an uproar anyway. We all survived. And the Airbnb was quite nice. And no, we're not going to tell you where it was.
It was a really nice spot. And yeah, that was great. But let's start, let's actually go through the timeline. Let's go day by day and recap our days. Because I think there's a lot of hilariousness that happened. But all right, so day T-minus 1 day, Dan and Braden fly in. I live in Western New Jersey. They flew into LaGuardia in Queens, which is on the other side of Manhattan. Which means, by the way, I paid $80 in tolls getting you guys
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's like $17 to leave New Jersey.
Why do you guys live where you live?
And then from New York
right?
to Queens, I paid a toll. And then back into New York, I paid a toll. But then going back into New Jersey, they're like, please go. Free. It's free. Go ahead. Don't pay. Like, yeah. So
I had no idea you had to pay all those tolls.
It's fine.
Take it out
Hopefully
of my
the
paycheck.
podcast. Yeah. Well, it's getting expensive with the podcast. We literally do the podcast just so it covers travel. But like, so I get them at LaGuardia. It's an 1.5 to 2 hour drive. And I'll never forget what Braden said when I was dropping him off. He goes, I've been in traffic more this one ride than I have been all of this year in Nebraska.
Facts.
And we weren't even at the airport.
We were on the George Washington Bridge.
Queens. Yeah. So I get them home. We hang out for a bit.
Why did we fly into LaGuardia?
Oh, it made all the sense in the world. I was mad at
Thank
first,
you.
but like I'm still mad. I'm allowed to be mad, but the thing
You
is,
can be mad.
flying from Omaha to Newark, it was like $480 plus a
More?
layover. It was more than that, probably, right?
Yeah, it was like in the
$500.
$500 and $600s.
Yeah,
More.
gross. Plus a
More.
layover. But going into LaGuardia, it was like 200 and change, shy of 300, direct flight. So I was like, I hate you guys, but I'll get you. Whatever. So got them, brought them home. And then the next morning, I made them a staple of New York/New Jersey fine dining. Braden, what did we make you?
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Bacon, egg, and cheese. Yeah, because I don't have Taylor ham. Sorry, I don't have it on hand. Or pork roll if you're from the south of New Jersey.
I don't understand these jokes.
Below the Mason-Dixon line of New Jersey. But yeah, I made him bacon, egg, and cheese. Dan, was it okay? Was it good?
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm still
No
dreaming
ketchup,
about
though.
those breakfast sandwiches. Oh, I'm
Dude,
gonna
that's
be
why
honest, I'm a
that's
team
why I
ketchup
went to
guy.
Aldi this morning.
What's
Went
up,
to
Brandon?
Aldi so I
I
could
liked
try
the
to...
ketchup. I'm in on the ketchup.
It's the salty and the sweet. It's okay. Dan put mayo on his and butter.
Yes.
And we need
No,
to
I
talk
didn't.
about
I don't
your
do
butter
mayo on
intake.
breakfast sandwiches. Mayo's not a breakfast thing.
Dan, we have to talk about your butter intake.
It's a lot.
It's the word that kept coming up is significant.
Did you and Emma have a private conversation about my butter intake?
It was out in the open. We said it out loud. Everything that
I didn't hear it.
said, we said it to you.
He was at
We were like,
he was at the
That's
table.
a lot of butter, Dan. And he'd be like, shut up.
I like butter. It's
Oh,
good
it's
for
okay.
you.
It's okay. Listen,
It is-
this was not the weekend to like dial it back. It's
No,
not.
and
So,
I didn't.
but anyways, we drove up Friday morning and it was a great time. Dan and Braden were in my car. Emma was in another car because I could not make her sit in a car full of farts for that long. So she brought all the bags, the heavy stuff, the big cooler and stuff. And let me tell you, like, this girl prepped. She meal prepped for us. Like, she had like full meals written out. Like, she made soup, Dan's favorite soup,
We wanted for nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
there was so much food.
which came in perfect on Saturday. We'll get to that. That's the later part of the story. But that was great. So like she brought all the stuff. We went to Maker Camp. And can I just go on record and say, like, day one of Maker Camp is a wash. All you're doing is hugging people.
Yes.
All you're doing is like, I miss you, hugging, trading stickers, unless you're Dan, because he hates everyone and didn't bring stickers. I brought Dan stickers.
I
But, like,
brought stickers.
Day one is
They just
literally
weren't on
like,
me.
I kept going to tents on figuring out like what times are classes, what's going on. But all we did was just like say hi to people, hug people, shake hands, shake babies, kiss hands, all that stuff.
There were a lot of babies there this year, though. Speaking of,
And
I
all of
wanna
them were at
notice.
the welding tent.
I have the whole. I want to talk about the wives and the babies in a little bit.
okay.
But I want to hear your like first day reactions. Go, Braden. Go. You go first.
Well, the most frustrating part for me, like the only downside to this entire weekend for me, has to take me back to T-minus like -1 day. All of that savings that we got from flying into LaGuardia,
I forgot about that.
I immediately spent. So I'm sitting here in Omaha. I'm at work. I'm in a new job, so I can't like take time off. I got 1 day off, and I felt like I pulled like a heist.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A doesn't have vacation days until like 100 days in.
They give you
Yeah.
Sunday off though, so
No, you have to work in the back. It's just not open. But anyway, so I pull up my phone. Dan and I, we're all three of us were talking, and I'm like, man, I leave in like 4 hours. Did I check in? Do I have to check into Delta? It's not Southwest, but okay, I should probably do that. And I pull it up and I look, and I get an email. It says, hey, you need to check in. Your flight's in 24 hours. And I said, no, it's in 4 hours. And then I looked and realized it wasn't. It was the next day, and all of the benefit of flying into LaGuardia was going to be out the window because I'd be there a day late. And I allowed Delta to do just terrible, terrible things to my body to get me where I need to be on time. And I thought, okay, fine. I was probably the last guy on this flight. Like, they had to bump somebody, I'm guessing. At least I'm going to be there. Dan and I go to the airport. Dan's 3 sheets to the wind because he's been there for 20 minutes longer than I have, and he's
pre-gaming.
Mary's done.
I had 4 Bloody Marys waiting for
you guys should know that Dan at an airport, he might as well be in the Caribbean. It's free game.
Yep.
Oh my God.
He didn't even have to walk up to the counter. He just had the gal. He just, put him on my tab. Well, we don't do that.
That's why I didn't put him on a layover, because he'd be drinking at the layover too.
Oh, I forgot we never ended up paying for this.
That's right. Dan doesn't pay for any of the drinks because 10 minutes before we actually had to be on the plane, we get paged. Daniel Dunlap, Braden Boex, please report to the gate. And we come flying over thinking that we missed the time there. And we get there and they're like, oh, no, you got 10 more minutes. And then we get on the plane. The captain scolds us. We've been waiting.
Yeah, he's like, we've been waiting on you. Like, what?
And I just think, at least I'm on this plane. I'm on my way. It's a vacation. Like, I'm so excited to be here.
And it's clearly going to be a full plane.
Right? Yeah, Delta they took care of me. It took some finances, but they took care of me. I turn right to go down the aisle. It is an empty plane. Like,
it's like a return flight from a route that they're not doing again.
Yeah, it's maybe a third full. I immediately just about have a mental break about how much I spent to sit on a almost empty. I could have just flown standby and just been fine. But
I almost asked you, like, did you even try to just buy another ticket?
Oh, I did. They were on to me, and they were, because if I had done that, they were going to cancel my return flight on the round trip because they don't want you to do like that. That flight skip jump trace running or whatever the heck they call it.
Buy a new two-way flight. You probably would have paid less.
It would have cost it just as much, like almost exactly the same.
You kids.
It was, the customer service gal with Delta, she knew she had me over a barrel and she was not gentle. But I got there. That's all that mattered.
What was the joke? What was the joke we used in the airport? She used a 60 grit condom.
I think she was down to like a 4 grit condom.
That Ace
just one
HD.
rock. But all of the frustration, all of that, we saw Pete's smiling face, and it was just out the window. It was easy street from then on.
Mind you, I just drove 2 hours. I'm circling around LaGuardia because the parking is closed. So I had to go to Terminal B. They're at B, and then shuttle over if I wanted to like go inside. I have to pee.
You did? I don't remember you telling us.
And I have
he told us several times.
Drunk baboons running at my car. And I was just like, oh, they're excited to see me. And then the second I see them by the window, the wave of smell hits me. I go, oh.
So here's the thing.
They pre-gamed in another state in a different time zone.
Not only did we drink at the airport bar, right? I had 3 Bloody Marys before Braden got there. I had another one after he got there.
Too many.
And
no, it's tomatoes. It's a salad.
Yeah, it's like a V8.
And
counteracts the butter.
And they were doubles. I was getting doubles. I gave the bartender at the airport my card and said, "You just keep it open until I'm ready." Well,
you just said, "F me up, Scotty."
Yeah, they gave me my card back, so I still have my card. They just took the number, put it in their system or whatever.
She looked at the card. She's like, "Sir, we don't do that here."
So we just kept saying, "It's
That's
fine. All we can do."
No, she didn't. She didn't. I was going to close it out, but when they called us over the intercom, I was like, "Oh crap! I never got to close it out." So hopefully they figured it out. I haven't checked my card. They may have overcharged me. I don't know. But anyways, we get on the plane.
Another stamps.com.
We get on the plane and we order
Dan
drinks
is the
on
numbers
the plane.
guy here. Just a reminder.
We ordered drinks on the plane as well, and they didn't charge us for those either. The stewardess, the flight attendant, whatever you want to call them, they'd walk by and just give us more drinks. They were just taking care of us.
Right before we started to come down too, I went back and asked for more drinks because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right.
And she's like, "Well, I'm gonna be honest, we're out of Jack. Do you want what was it that we got, Dan?
Woodford,
a clear upgrade from Jack.
Do you want Woodford?
Is this okay?"
It's a lateral move.
Fine.
I think it's a little upgrade from Jack.
Oh, it is.
We felt like it was an upgrade.
Oh, it's an
But
upgrade.
then again,
So we were drinking Woodfords and Coke as the plane was coming down in New York. We get off the plane and we are a couple of jackasses.
we did it. We asked her for one more like on the descent, and she's like,
Can't.
No.
Oh, honey.
Anyway, yeah, we
Oh my God.
were lit pretty good. What was that, Thursday night then? Yeah.
Yeah, and I drove them home. All hour
You're
45.
insane. I didn't realize you had to go to the restroom. Did you ever stop? I don't remember stopping. I don't remember a whole lot.
No. We went all the way home, and then we drank more. That's when I started drinking. I was like, I have to start drinking now. Just dealt with Dan and Braden for an hour and 45 minutes in a car. I gotta drink.
Do you want to get murdered?
But Braden's reaction to where I live was like Dan's first reaction to where I live, which was like, oh, this is nice. Like I feel like I'm in Nebraska. We just pulled off of Route 80 and we just drove past a cornfield. We're in Nebraska, right? Like, why did I fly this far? Because that's where I live. I live out in the boonies. I'm closer to PA than the city. So that was day one. Dun, dun. All right.
Day -1. We
negative one. Yeah. Let's get to day one. So I get these these big boys in my car, and we actually, for anyone that knows New Jersey, we drove through High Point State Park because Dan loves the scenic route, and it's it's fall. It's beautiful. But this time it took us a different route, Dan. It actually took us up
I remember that.
High Point State Park, which is the highest point in New Jersey. And I have never, ever, ever heard my car bogged down going uphill.
It was struggling.
Because it was like full of like stuff. We had a cooler full of refreshments.
That's all right. You can say it was because the fat guys in your car.
3 fat guys in a Subaru Crosstrek. Apparently that stresses the transmission a bit. Because I was like, that's a sound I've never heard. It's struggling. Because like, say what you want about the Subarus, but like they're meant for like going uphill. The torque is there. And I was like, oh my God, this is dangerous. To the point where like, as soon as we get over the hill, we go to get gas. And like we pull over, and I've had issues with like oil. I'm leaking somewhere in my engine. It's hitting my muffler. But like to the point of like, not just the smell, we pull over to get gas. And I literally see wisps of smoke going by the car. Like I stress this thing. And the best part of that drive was out of nowhere. And this is a callback to the weekend before when I was with Patrick and Dave at the East Coast Rep Rap Festival, where Patrick out of nowhere pulled out a banana and was just eating in a bed. Out of nowhere, I get back in the car and Braden's just eating a banana. I'm like, what the fudge, man? Like, where'd you get a banana from? He just went to the gas station. He went to pee and bought a banana because that's what normal people do.
I need the potassium for my health.
Yeah.
Dan scared me. My heart was gonna explode because of only eating pork rinds.
Elevation and pork rinds. You ate a lot.
Well, I told him about my keto scare back in 2019. I think that was pre-podcast. Yeah. I was on keto, lost a bunch of weight, and I slowly transitioned away from eating leafy greens and stuff that's good for you to just meat and cheese.
You know, Oreos are vegan, so you can be vegan and just eat Oreos every day.
I ended up going to the hospital, and they had to pump me full of magnesium and potassium. So I was like, Braden, just be careful.
When's the last time you got a banana and you? It's not my style. Well, you're gonna tonight. But then we make it all the way to Maker Camp, and the weather's hanging on by a thread. So first of all, we're going into this weekend knowing that it's going to rain at some point.
Yeah, they're calling for rain.
Well, the drive up, the last bit of the drive too. How did Emma caught up? She was like an hour behind, and then next thing we know,
she went like the highway.
Us.
We went local, and then I had to like drive in the right lane, like slow lane, like a chump. And then she finally caught up after an hour of just being 5 minutes behind us. Because
I
you know
don't
how
think
Emma
she
drives.
drove the scenic route. She took the actual.
No, she
way
took the
you're supposed
highway.
to.
Yeah, yeah. Because she went to the farm. She got a apple cider slushy and stuff like that. But anyways, we get there and we just like we're super excited. I pack my fanny pack or whatever. I get to grab a bunch of stickers, and we just go in. And it's all I remember of day one, or at least the first half, is just going around to every single tent. Which the new tent layout was like kind of funky because they didn't do the big jackal burn whatever in the center. They had
Jackalope.
tents jackalope, which is like a rabbit deer combo.
Yeah,
If
that's
you're
what they
into
did
weird
last year.
It's an
mythology.
antelope.
So they didn't do the big burn, so they set up
Yeah.
tents in the center.
Thank you, Braden.
And it was both confusing and like cool to like have more tents, but also like the layout kept confusing me. But we just got there and it was all just like saying hi and reminiscing and hugging people for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Just trading state, it's like trading state quarters, except this time it was COVID.
Is that a thing you
Apparently,
do?
I'm the only one who kept his COVID.
Only one I got
Everybody
the
else
Nebraska
traded theirs
quarter.
away.
But what other recaps do you have from day one?
I remember distinctly. I was like, yeah, I'll go say hi to people, but first things first, I need to go to the bar and get a drink because I don't know if you guys know this about Maker Camp. When you order a big drink, it comes in a giant soup bowl, like when you order Chinese food online.
No, Dan got a kid's medium, which is what is that? That is a large epoxy total boat mixing cup. I'm not even kidding.
What it is.
That's
without
what
the
it
lines.
is. It's literally the size of a Chinese takeout container. It's enormous.
Yeah,
I'm used to Dan's.
It's like $12, and it's just.
I'm used to Dan's like drinking, and he walked over, and I could smell that cup, and I was like, "Good Lord,
Whoa.
God!"
To the point where
I
like
had several
was like,
people say that to me.
I'm all for like we're at Maker Camp. You know, when you're vacation, like money doesn't matter, alcohol consumption and food consumption doesn't matter. You're just like whatever goes into your body.
It's all free
cool.
calories.
Oh, it's $300. Whatever. Like I'm not even asking. I'm just charging it. We're in vacation mode. But even I was like, Dan, we're about to go talk to somebody that we want to like
drink. I didn't.
No, I know. But I was like, then we're gonna go over to talk to a potential sponsor. I need you to have a water. I need you to have something else.
Did you ever get that water in them? Because for the whole weekend,
my God,
I don't think
like,
we could get a single water bottle in them.
I tried to get a bottle in him, but he kept just squeezing him out.
Of it.
I kept trying to hydrate Dan, and he just would not cooperate.
We just kept having to ask them to put like extra ice in his cups so that at least some of it would melt.
Oh, it was
when you drink it at the speed I do.
It was nuts. But honestly, day one is always just like the most exciting. We got to see all of our friends, all the makers, or at least most of them, because not everyone comes up on Friday. Fridays tend to be actually a lighter day.
Was Friday night, was that karaoke night, or was that
Saturday was the first night? Karaoke night? Yes. So that was a lot of fun. We had a good time because like karaoke, some people stay out till like God knows when.
I love karaoke night at Maker Camp.
But before we went to karaoke, Adrian was doing a pasta night. So Emma baked a bunch of bread that she froze and everything. And Adrian did a pasta night. So we went over to her tent. We had this whole like big family style pasta dinner.
No, it's not.
With like Caesar, like somebody made like a whole big mixed Caesar salad, which was amazing. And the pasta was great. Fresh baked bread.
Somebody bought that at Walmart.
Store bought, but they mixed it all together.
It was mixed by hand.
Mixed with love and by hand. And in the world's biggest bowl I've ever seen.
Fun fact before you go on. You know how we were under like a canopy and there was like a tent area and a table that we were around? Apparently we just took over that spot. We weren't supposed to. That belonged to
whatever.
That belonged to the other people that had the tacos that were inviting us to have tacos. We just took it over.
Whatever.
There were tacos as well. Tacos and spaghetti. Everybody knows they go together well.
But that was great. And honestly, that was Dan's saving grace because Dan, it's pasta and bread and salad. It's going to fill you up. That's why Olive Garden's so popular, right? Like he filled up and we walked away and we're all like, yo, I'm sitting a little heavy right now. And Dan's like, I cannot even drink water right now. Like, because I kept trying to give him bottles of water. He's like, I can't do anything. And I think that's the saving grace because the next day, because I started drinking bourbon, which is nice and light, like you just keep putting it away. And Dan was just like, I'm just gonna dial it back a little bit. So he felt great the next day, and I felt like trash because I was trying to cheat the system, get a good buzz
Felt
going.
great the next day. Felt great Saturday morning. I don't know about y'all. I felt like $1 million.
But you guys
I
had a
felt
nice little
clean.
karaoke night. How was karaoke?
Braden killed it.
He did.
He told me he liked karaoke. He didn't tell me that he's like a karaoke like hustler.
Listen, I'm all enthusiasm, no talent when it comes to karaoke. It is,
and sometimes that's all you need. I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, you just, you throw on a good song, and you know half the words, and you just kind of go for it. The best part about that is, so I was on what's Colton's podcast?
Around the bench.
Around the Bench. That's what it is. I got the definitely not copyrighted one stuck in my head, but on Beat Around the Bench, we were talking about karaoke because we were talking about Maker Camp coming up, and he and I seem to have like this weird way of like everything that we do is the same, except he does it with a mullet. And we were talking about karaoke songs, and he's like, dude, I love karaoke. I'm like, yep, me too. What's your go-to song? And it was literally a Step Brothers moment. It's like, all right, say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. And we both said Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby. And it was like, well, okay, we're going to have to figure this out. And so I won because, I'm me. And I just went first.
Crush it. And speaking of Colt, like, he's a fun guy to hang out with. I'm so glad you introduced me to him. And if you don't know what we're talking about Colt Crit on IG. Colton, I forget his last name, but he's fun. Mullet, awesome.
Colton Bug Woodworking. Yeah, we might probably have him on at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna have him on. He's a fun guy.
He did
Red Hot Chili
Peppers, and I always feel good like after I finish Ice Ice Baby. It's a crowd work type song, and like I get into it, so like I get out in the crowd and all that. He comes on and he does that, and I'm just like, God, why did I even bother? I should just go home. He killed it. He didn't just
Red
some
Hot
people
Chili
that
Peppers give it away.
Wait, can we talk about Adam Barnett and the pipes
You
on
mean
that
Mr.
boy?
Pipes?
Pipes.
Oh my God, Adam Barnett!
His
Holy
pipes
crap!
Not affiliated with Rockler.
I felt like I was in an X Factor. I was just hitting a button in front of me, like, damn, this boy can sing. Damn. So
Yeah,
and what did he sing again?
Doesn't matter. It's the way he made me feel.
He sang.
I think it was Celine Dion.
No.
Oh, he sang "Damn, I Feel Like a Woman."
No.
Shania?
No.
It was something that had some technical prowess required to like pull it off.
No, it was definitely good, but maybe it wasn't a Reba.
He sang a Sublime song.
And, he did that opera piece from Phantom of the Opera.
He sang "Oh Danny Boy." I think he sang it right to me. It was beautiful.
It was but whatever he's saying, like we can't remember. But
he did sing a Sublime song.
The way it made us feel. I was by the bathrooms and I was like, "Who is that? Adam? Oh my God, so good." So 12 out of 10. Nice work, man. That was good.
Then we got Dan. We got Dan up there. He
after I was like really looking forward to doing karaoke because I had so much fun doing it last year from what I remember. But I watched Braden and Colton do their thing first, and I was like, oh God, I can't go up there now.
Braden ran up to me, was like, "Me, you, Dan, this song." I'm like, I don't do karaoke. Sorry, like, and that's more of just like I'm the guy that like would get anxiety like reading in front of a class. So like to sing a song
I
in front
don't
of a class.
understand. You do a podcast in front of millions of people.
I'm staring at 3
dozens of
photos right now. And then I underneath you, I have like the game going, like where you have to run on tracks and you have to go and collect the coins. Like that's how I keep pay attention to you guys. or somebody cutting soap. That's all it is. That's a TikTok joke. Then Emma Poppins came in, then Mother Emma, and was like, "Y'all are drunk. Let's go."
Yeah, we cut out at about midnight, I think. I think
it was like 12:30, 1 o'clock. We stayed a little longer.
Okay.
It was after 12, but
I gotta say, the thing that I am absolutely like I'm impressed by so much of what happened this last weekend. The one thing that tops it all, the thing that makes me most impressed, is the fact that Emma managed to pull all three of us out just 3 sheets to the wind, and we did not argue. Like, we were just like, "Oh yeah, it's time to go."
Oh,
Naturally.
Emma said we gotta go. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
See
Yes,
ya.
ma'am.
Let's go. It's because we knew
if
she
that would have
packed all
happened
the
in years
treats.
past, there would have been a blow up.
Also,
Well,
that night I waited in the longest line of my life. I've been to Six Flags. I've been to Six Flags. That's it. But I waited
Five
in
Flags.
the Mark Adams photo. We had one during the day. We ended up taking some at night. We stood in that line for like probably hour and a half, almost 2
He's
hours.
getting really popular. Everybody wants
Yeah.
their photo. So,
But it was like
the
a
line
short
is big.
line. It's just like he was like leaning into it that night. He was doing like a full photo shoot with every person.
Mhm.
It wasn't like the quick like this 20 photos, put your email in. It was like a full session. Like,
No, that guy knows
Like,
what he's doing. He knows
Now
how to.
think Tiger. Think Tiger. Rawr.
it was a lot of fun.
He
But,
knows
like,
how
I
to
think
get the
because it
most
was-
out of you.
Here's the funny thing. So like Emma is she's got very fair skin. She's very like light skinned. Was wearing my new Peach's Workshop, like the light khaki or like the cream colored shirt or whatever. I was wearing the darker one with me slightly like more reddish face or whatever. I look like I'm like Dominican. Like I got some color on me. Like I've been in the sun all summer. I've been lifeguarding. Like I am so tan in those photos. But still so good. So nice.
Your tan would give Justin Bailey a run for his money. I think.
Oh, Justin. I'm so glad he came out. But anyways, we get back to the house. We make sandwiches because we have bread. We have some deli meats. I remember making sandwich. Actually, no, I don't remember making sandwiches. I remember eating them with you guys. But apparently I made the Sammys that night.
You guys brought the spicy Polish ham?
Ukrainian ham, whatever. It's from
Whatever.
a Ukrainian store in Garfield, whatever.
Middle European ham.
It's just a juicy, spicy ham with pepper flakes on the outside. It's so good.
Very good.
That was very good. And then we all go to sleep and wake up the next morning. The whole, kit and caboodle with Braden. He's
the shower,
this monster.
The shower
and we don't know who it
debacle.
is. Yep. And then I like start rallying and like I help Emma make breakfast and we just like make this bomb-ass breakfast too. Like it was so great. Like bringing your own food to an Airbnb, that's the way to do it, guys. Like you can cook your own meal. It's super comfortable. Make breakfast and we it's pouring. Let's just start the day. Like it started pouring the night before.
Yeah.
And it just kept going.
And we went there with hopes that we'd be able to tough it out and it'd be fine.
You're jumping ahead, Dan. We all got dressed, ready for the rain. Dan put on his white, I repeat, put on his white Nike sneakers.
Brand new.
And a flannel.
I specifically bought them for Maker Camp. Of course I put them on.
And then we're driving over. So we're taking one car. We brought 2 cars up, but during the day, we're just taking one car. We're taking my car over to Maker Camp. It is pouring rain. The windshield wipers are going full speed. My windshield wiper, the passenger side, freaking explodes. Like it literally bent the metal. The windshield wiper literally was bent out of shape. And like we had to just drive the last little bit of it, just driving rain on the windshield. Like
the faster you go, the more the rain will whoosh off the windshield.
Speed,
so it's fine.
Sans rain. Yeah. But we get there and Dan's like, I'm gonna fix it. Hops out on his flannel and his, I repeat, white Nike sneakers in driving rain, and like within 30 seconds or like 10 seconds, he's like, this is broken. And then he goes to like run to the main office, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get the shirts.
That's another story.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so like he runs into the office to get a box, whatever. I'm like getting more and more annoyed. I'm hating every second of this. Like my car is breaking, like I'm soaked. I get out of the car finally. I can't find my rain jacket. Turns out it's at the house. And I'm just like losing it. And like Braden and Dan just go. They go to the event. Braden's excited. It's his first time. Dan's just in Dan mode. He's like, I got this. No, rain can't stop me. There's literally video of Dan walking in pouring rain in a flannel jacket like white
Cotton flannel.
sneakers. What is it? Cotton flannel. Yeah.
Cotton flannel.
Going through puddles into Maker Camp. It's literally rivers. Like he ran through a river just to get to the main office. Me and Emma go, we're going to go back. We're going to go get Peter's jacket, switch cars. I drive back to the Airbnb in driving rain, going like 15 miles an hour with no windshield wiper going. So I can barely see where I'm going. It was freaking terrifying. We get to the house and like we move everything over. We're like, okay, we have a cooler, we have a bunch of jackets, umbrellas, whatever. Let's move it to the other car. We move it into Emma's car and absolutely soaked. Like the pants are soaked, the seats are soaked, everything. I called Dan. I'm like, hey, like how is it over there? What's happening? And Dan, what do you tell me?
There's a river going right through the pavilion, which is like the main place where everybody's
building.
standing, and it's a big giant shelter, and there's a river going right through it, because I don't think we've explained well enough how hard it was raining. I mean, it had to be coming down 2 inches an hour. Like it was insane.
The pavilion did not have a river when we got into it. It did have a river 5 minutes later when Pete calls.
Yeah,
I have a video of it. It's just like a flash
was that
flood.
quick.
So you guys were there. I never actually went into the pavilion that day. All of Saturday, Peter and Emma were not at Maker Camp. I just want to stress that. We drove to it multiple times, but I was not there. So Braden and Dan, give us a recap of what was happening and how bad it was.
So first things first, we do a little thing on Saturday nights called the Stoop. It's just a maker hangout where we get on Zoom and we just chit chat and have libations and just talk about life in general. It's just a fun hangout. We've been doing it since the pandemic, and a lot of people still do it. And we ordered shirts this time around, and Adrian took lead on that. Adrian from Hickory Homestead Creations, and she didn't get them in time, so she had them shipped to the main office at the Blackthorn Resort where Maker Camp is. And she messaged all of us and said, hey, can anybody get that? And I was like, I got it, because I'm here. So I went to the main office, got the box, walked the box through all the rain up
using the box as an umbrella above your head.
Yeah, just to be super clear,
that would have been smart. I should have done that.
Yeah, he didn't lightly jog, he didn't run, he walked.
I walked. Have you seen me? I don't run. If you see me running, you should probably turn around and run as well, because
it wasn't really it wasn't the fact that you walked, it's the fact that you stopped dead in your tracks, turned around, and just like held the box over like it was a boom box.
You're like, I got it, idiot.
Just get out of here.
So I walked the box, and it's all the way across Maker Camp from where I picked the box up to where Adrian's table is, because she's in the woodworking tent doing scroll saw stuff. I think she was partnered up with Lizzie from what the heck is Lizzie's IG handle?
Why am I blanking on it right now?
Timber.
Lizzie. Scroll saw Lizzie.
Yeah. Scroll saw Lizzie. Everybody knows Lizzie.
House of Timber.
House of Timber.
Thank you.
There we go. Anyway, I walked it all the way up there. The ground was spongy by the time I got up there. It was passable-ish. Not the greatest, but it was passable. I had spent about 3 minutes up there looking for Adrian. Couldn't find her. Messaged her. There's no internet service at Maker Camp at the Blackthorn Resort, so I didn't know if my messages were going through or not. So I just left the box on the table, said F it, and I was going to go back down to the pavilion and just drink the day away. So as I walk away from the woodworking tent, the ground that I walked through previously that was rained on was now just a giant lake. Literally a lake. Lake Maker Camp, they could have called it.
Laker Camp.
Yeah.
What LeBron and them trained at.
Yeah. Okay.
Sports.
So I get over to the pavilion finally. I am just soaked head to toe. There's not a dry spot on me. And I'm about to order a drink. And that's when Pete calls and says, hey, do you want to just stay at the Airbnb? And I'm like, yes.
Well, I was feeling it out. I was being gentle. I was like,
absolutely.
Hey, how is the situation over there? Because me and Emma are literally soaked from just moving stuff to the other car.
So then we were like, okay, how do we want to do this? I'm like, I don't know. Braden, this is Braden's first time. I don't want him to feel like I'm abandoning him. I'm gonna give him the option, and he seemed okay with it. And then we were like, hey, let's just invite a bunch of people over because, you know, we still want to hang out and have fun. So we invited people over to our Airbnb where we had a get together, not a party.
Not party.
Not a party.
Not a party.
parties
Not
allowed.
allowed by the Airbnb standards.
We
It really
had-
was. There's like the lamest party.
How
We
many
just sat and
people do you
talked.
think we had over there? Like 10, 15? I don't know.
12.
Exactly one less than the Airbnb would be okay.
Whatever. No, we
Yes.
like. I mean, there's only so many people that stay there.
Anyways,
like,
we had a
so-
good group of people over there. We ordered pizza delivery.
I Ubered a bunch of people from Maker Camp. I drove to Maker Camp
Pete
4
did
times to get
do
everyone
like a shuttle service,
yeah.
which was very nice.
picked up because Carmine was there with the Randy Bovandy. So I picked
Yeah,
him
and
up. I picked up.
We just
Well,
these
first
guys
of all,
all-
I go to
these
pick
guys-
up Dan and Braden, and they're like, "We got 2 more people." I'm like, "What?"
Oh yeah, because we had Patrick and Colton,
Patrick
and then
Colton.
we drove back to go get Justin Bailey. Like,
Yeah.
and you weren't like chauffeuring tiny people. Like these were hefty people.
Stout is a word. Like if these people were a beer, they were all a Guinness. Yeah. So like I'm chauffeuring these people. I like drove from Maker Camp and back, and I was calling people up like Lee and Danielle. Like they were in like a luxury camper because it's
Yeah, they
their
weren't gonna leave that.
Danielle's parents' camper. Like we're comfortable. We have a fireplace. We're like, yeah, I know, but we're like, we want to see you guys. So, anyways, we brought some people back, and then like Malcolm joined us. Brooke and Michael from Maker's Workshop joined us, and Malcolm is the voice of AWP. So happy he was able to join us there. Nick Pachi and his whole family, the kids and the wife, they all joined us as well. So that was a lot of fun. We brought him over. In the middle of the day, Braden orders pizza, which is technically New York pizza, not New York City, but it was technically New York pizza because
and
it was.
it was good.
It was
wasn't
good.
It was
tasty,
It was
but
actually
was
It
good.
was actually really good. And the Supreme, they threw some wild,
Yeah.
wild stuff on there. Like
If-
broccoli, and then they had,
If anyone knows what a combo, a Supreme, or a garbage pie is, that was it. It's the whatever we got, it goes on it. It's
it
good
was
stuff.
good.
So for lunch we do that, but before we do that, at some point we're all just like sitting there talking. By the way, I'm definitely hungover. This it hits me. I'm like sitting there like I'm just gonna take it slow. I'm gonna hydrate, guys. You just chat. But at some point there's a PlayStation 4 that's not hooked up to the TV, but it's there. They have a nice record player, so we're playing ABBA and Daft Punk. Yes, in that order.
Rick Astley.
Rick Astley. There was a Rick Astley
The Home
album.
Alone soundtrack.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was
the
literally
Home
the
Alone Christmas
weirdest
album.
soundtracks, but I enjoyed all the music choices were solid.
Yeah, it was a good
And-
record player. It was,
and we're
it was
like-
fantastic.
Wait, there's a PlayStation 4 Grand Theft Auto's there. And I don't know if you
Grand
guys
Theft
know
Auto
this
5.
about 5. I don't know if you guys know about this, but Dan, a big fan of Grand Theft Auto.
He perked
So-
right up.
I go turn it on. I'm like, oh, it's like not hooked up, not anything. So I drag the HDMI cable, I hook it up to the TV, I turn it on, and I start just dying laughing out loud in the middle of the room, just full on belly laughs. And I was like, what the hell's Pete's lost it. Pete's done. And then everyone looks at the screen, and there's like a network connection issue error on a screen for the PlayStation in Polish. And I was like, what does that say? Like, what does that mean? And we literally like the only reason we were able to play like Grand Theft Auto 5 is because like I was going through the menu, like, no, cancel settings, go back to home, blah blah blah. I was going through the settings like in Polish trying to read it all. And because my Polish is rusty. And then we started playing Grand Theft Auto 5. And of course, we throw the controller to Dan, but like, entertain us, monkey, go. So Dan starts playing, and then it turns into this all like, anytime you do crazy shit, and then anytime you die, you just pass it to the next person. And then we
Yeah.
start trying to like get to like the Air Force base and then take
And
it
steal the jet.
and steal the jet. And like, I took off twice. Dan took off twice. Nobody else
I
did.
got
So
the
we did
farthest.
you got the furthest, so we did pretty well. We're like playing, and that was our day. We just like sat there. We
We played that game for like 3-4
Dude,
hours.
We started at like 11.
We-
We probably played till like 6, 7.
We
Yeah.
didn't just play it for that long. we played the same like 100-yard section of the game
we
for
didn't
that
do
entire
anything
time.
But like we were
different.
like cheering each other on. Everyone was like getting like super excited, like, oh yeah, you took off, yeah, oh you died. Like
was
everyone was
fun.
invested in it. And in the meantime, we're like just like chatting about our day and like passing around the remote. And that's when Braden orders pizza. We like keep extending the day. People leave, people come. And then at the end of the day, we're like, all right, let's like, the rain is fading. Let's go back to Maker Camp. And before we did that, we had a dinner. And Emma's like we talked about pre-gaming some food. She made some soup. She packed pasta. So we made a whole pot of soup that was like frozen in like 4 Tupperware containers. A whole pot of soup. We had pumpkin bread, fresh baked bread. We had pasta with chicken in it. We had we reheated the pizza, and we like served all this food to like 12 people. And it was literally like a feast of food.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
Yeah, it worked out really well. And like we all just ate like a lot of food. First of all, that soup, man, that chorizo kale soup. Oh, so good. So good. It's hot Italian sausage soup with kale in it. So good. Dan's favorite.
It's fantastic.
And like, by the way,
Needs
to the
more
point
butter.
where like we had like tons of charcuterie, meat, and cheese that we didn't even eat. I'm still eating it this week because we didn't actually touch it. So we did that. We like well relaxed. We played a couple more games, and we headed back to Maker Camp. And that
What
night
time was it when we headed back, do you think?
It was like 7, 8
It was
o'clock.
dark.
Yeah, it got darker, like 7, 8 o'clock. And I'm so glad we did. We stayed there till about 1, and we just had a blast. Actually, that's when we did the Mark Adams photos. That second night. Yeah, and it was such a fun night. There was more karaoke, or actually there was a live band playing.
No karaoke. There was a live band. There was a live band. There was Hammerschlagen.
Oh, Hammerschlagen.
There was cornhole. There was axe throwing, which, mind you, I don't know if that was the best idea with all the drunkards around.
No,
there.
I had some great video of you. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brunt sponsored that apparently.
Justin from Campfire Woodworks challenged me to axe throwing. I'd never done it before, and I'd like to say right here and now that I slaughtered him.
You crushed him.
I crushed his hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
You embarrassed him.
If you were a part of New Jersey, you were North Jersey, and he was pretending to be Central Jersey.
He walked away with his head in shame.
Yeah,
a
definitely.
whooping that done
tail
that.
between his legs all the way.
Anyway, that was that. That was fun.
Yeah. What else did we do that night? You guys remember?
We were all in matching uniforms that night.
Oh yeah, that's when the shirts came out.
That's
Forgot about that.
Braden, you want to talk about that?
Yes, please.
So
talk about the whole concept and idea, because we're all, if you're watching the video, we're all wearing the same shirt.
The Mayo shirts came from a brainchild of Patrick Genzel, myself, Malcolm from Bossa Nova Woodworks, and Kamani. And it started with just me and Patrick, and we were just joking around about just how much Dan loves Mayo. And the Odie's thing had just happened with on John's YouTube video about the hardware.
Oh yeah, the whole thing.
And so we were joking about that, and we're like, it'd be really funny if we could like rebrand it, and we could probably do something with Dan and Mayo, but if we make it look like that brand's logo, like that'd be funny. And he just starts like rolling through AI iterations and then photoshopping them and all that. And next thing we know, we have this thing. We're like, what do we do with this? I know. We should order just an ass ton of t-shirts. Let's get as many people as we can get.
A total boatload.
A total boatload, yes. Let's get as many people as we can get to get these shirts as possible, while still keeping it from both of you, which is probably, that's like peak Braden, because I'm terrible at.
I can't believe you kept it from us.
I'm so bad at secrets. But we managed to pull that off. In fact, the shirt is how we got Malcolm to actually go to Maker Camp. He was not going to go. He said he would go after he was like, I don't know if I should go. I don't know if like I belong in the community like that. And I'm like, no, you're definitely going. What if we let's mess with Dan? And he's like, wait, I get to troll people? I'm in. 100% in. Like he booked the Airbnb, I think, that day. And then he later went on and he won the ticket, and I texted him immediately after. I'm like, dude,
Totally randomly.
every single sign points to you have to go. Like,
Yeah,
you have to go.
go.
And so I just start messaging people that I know are going to be there, that I know you guys are going to see, and I'm just like, hey, you want to buy a shirt with mayonnaise on it? and everybody's like, you got a Dan shirt? Yeah, I'm in. Like, several people ordered like 2.
So, I think the weather probably ruined the big surprise, the way you guys probably had it in your head.
I still got the big surprise.
We got the Pete surprise.
When I walked up to the pavilion to get my drink, and when Pete called me, that's when I noticed the shirt, because Patrick was standing at the bar with his jacket open and the shirt was showing. And I was starting to talk to Patrick and bitching about the weather, as I do. And I glanced down and I saw my name, and I looked up and I glanced back down again, like a second take, a spit take, except there's no spit. And I go, what the hell is that? He starts laughing. And I start looking around, and I start seeing them everywhere. I'm like, what the?
Like dozens of people wearing it.
There were at least 20 people wearing this shirt, maybe more. I don't know. It was wild. It was funny, and it was a little heartwarming.
Here's the thing, mind you, Dan kept it for me. Braden hasn't mentioned anything. Yep. So I'm shuttling people back and forth. I finally make it back to the Airbnb. I walk in and everyone's like, look, like they're tucked. They're sitting on a couch in the area, whatever. They have hoodies on, whatever. Everyone's just kind of tucked away. And they're like, hey, there's something on a table for you. I'm like, oh, there's a shirt. Cool. All right. So I like grab it and I pick it up. There's actually, if you want to watch the reaction, Braden or whoever caught it on video.
I think it's on Braden's page. Yeah,
it's on Braden's. Page. It's literally on Braden's page. By the way, you should have tagged me in that, or should have made me a collaborator. I don't know if you can do it after the fact, but if you can, do it. And it's like me lifting up the shirt, like covers my face, and I come down with like a "who did this" face, whatever. And then like I only like my brain just registered like Daniel Dunlap's Wood Mayo. Like I didn't even read the bottom text, and because I was just like, this is impressive, because I realized that everyone in the room is wearing one right now, and like I'm just like laughing, and they're like, "Do you see the second line? Like now with more peach tree oil, like tree oil, whatever." And I look at the shirt, I actually read it for the first time, that second line, and I just explode. It's hilarious. Oh my God. It was like such a genuine, like, and here's the thing, the thing that blows me away. And like, Braden, thank you for this, man. Because like Dan and I were in a room with a bunch of people wearing a shirt that was themed by us, or mostly Dan with the help of me. But like, not only that, there was another dozen plus people wearing it somewhere in the world that was like revolving around us and the podcast and the silly jokes we make. And like,
yeah, it's crazy.
That was honestly one of the highlights of Maker Camp, was just like, oh my God, like we have a community around us. Like these are just our friends, like not just our friends, but like our friends, like people we interact with daily. But like, this is what a community is. This is what when a content creator, quote unquote, like talks about like, oh, I have a community, like this is it. It made my day. It made my whole weekend. It still makes it right now. We're all wearing it. And if you haven't seen it yet,
we didn't even plan this. I just knew coming into the podcast that I had to wear the shirt.
Mine just got freshly washed, so I put mine on.
Mine is still Maker Camp fresh. I just knew I needed it for the podcast.
I either got fatter this weekend or mine shrunk a little bit.
Mine shrank a little in the wash.
They are definitely both got fatter to the last sizes I ordered for you guys. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of the cool part about it is, yeah, you're right. They were everywhere. Stone had one. He was at the bar that day with that group of people.
Gotta love Onefinity. Love those guys.
They were walking around, and they were, obviously they were at the Airbnb, but I mean, Lee had them in the camper. They were everywhere.
Oh, Lee. Damn it. It's like, see, that's so cool.
I think Adam Barnett was wearing one. Kim was wearing one. Dave Meow was wearing one.
That was one of the major highlights. Like I had a couple major highlights from the weekend. That was it, man. So thank you for being a part of that. Because that really
warmed my heart.
That made my Saturday. I haven't laughed that hard in a while. I was just so genuinely like enjoying that day.
Anyways,
my shirt was wet. What the hell?
As we said in the pre-show, if you were there, we're actually going to put these shirts up in the AWP site.
Oh yeah.
Or not. We don't have a site. We have an Etsy store for the AWP.
Yeah.
So if you want one of these shirts, It's gonna be
They're
there.
gonna be up
Um,
within the next week. I'm just
Yes.
gonna say that. I want to make sure.
All the proceeds go to feeding Dan's little children.
And also paying for this podcast itself.
Yeah, and the booze that is consumed.
Yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. All right. Anyways, so like we go back to Maker Camp. We have another last great night. We have a good time. We get a little tipsy, but then we're adults this night. We're not going crazy, right?
Mhm.
So like there's fire pits, there's everything. Despite all the rain, there's fire pits. We have a great time. We play Hammer
Big giant fire
Schlagen.
pits.
We head back around 1:00-ish, whatever. We have some like late night charcuterie or just shoving meats into our face before we go to bed. And we wake up Sunday and the weather is absolutely just perfect.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Like just perfect weather. We all get up. We all like look at each other at some point. And I think I look at you guys and I go, hey guys, we did it perfect last night. We all leaned into it, but like we stopped perfectly. So we all feel great. We have energy and it's Sunday and it's the last day and we're staying the whole day. And where do we go from there? Braden?
You leaned over to us and you said all of that, except it didn't sound like you. It sounded like James Earl Jones.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
all
right.
had like deep voice because we went loud.
I sounded that morning like I do right now.
Oh my God.
Because I fell asleep without my CPAP.
No, you were
We've talked
deeper
about,
than that.
We've talked about this before, how I have to sleep with a CPAP now, but when I don't use it, my mouth gets really dry and I wake up and it's just, I sound like this and I can't
James
talk.
Earl Jones. Hello.
Yeah, so
You gave Malcolm a run for his money.
I did.
So we get, we go over, we finally recover. We have breakfast, last of our eggs, bacon, ham, whatever. We all make like little Sammys with no ketchup for Dan because he's
No
a
ketchup.
coward.
Nope. It's
Pack up the
nasty stuff.
Airbnb and we just have our final day at Maker Camp. And it was just, I think the thing is like, Saturday was great because like we rallied. We had a wonderful day hanging out with everyone at the house.
I want to point something out.
Yeah, please.
Before you get too far. They weren't doing a burn this year, right? So we weren't like trying to stay to get to the burn. We wanted to see the total boat regatta, which we kind of saw. I think we caught the end of it.
We saw Jackman cheating.
He made a little girl cry, literally.
Sinking a 7-year-old girl's boat.
But apparently, I've seen at least one video where they did a fireworks send off.
They were doing the fireworks when
fireworks.
we were grabbing lunch or dinner at that one place that took 2 hours to get our food out.
Oh,
the place with that guy, those two guys yelling about how they weren't even from the town of 14 people.
Something about sports whatever.
We found
Leeds,
the town.
Leeds.
Yeah,
we found the
we
town.
were in Leeds, New York.
Yeah, we found like the upstate New York version of the town from Footloose.
Yeah, it was
Pretty
literally
much.
two guys screaming at each other, one in a suit, one in the most casual clothing ever, like just shouting at each other about like being from the local town.
You're not even from here.
Yeah, but
You're
like
not even from here.
I think they knew each other and it was a bit.
Oh, they
but
knew
I'm
each
like,
other. They were razzing each other while they were watching
Come
football
on.
for sure. I think the Jets were playing.
But before we get to that and leaving and all that stuff, like Sunday was the day because like we missed Saturday, which is a bummer because we were all trying to like catch up, like actually do events. Like we did the powder coating, we got our ornaments. I got a little metal beard comb. We saw like Adrian doing scroll saw. We stopped at the Shaper booth. We first of all, we didn't even like talk about all the tents. Like there was a woodworking tent, there was a carving.
We
tent.
also didn't talk about the fact how all the tents got shut down because of the deluge of rain.
They lost power. Like they were trying to rally, but they lost power. Listen, Austin and Maker Camp and the Blackthorn Resort actually did a bang up job because they had bales of hay ready to just drop wherever there was mud. They just dropped the bale of hay.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job of that.
Yeah, to like try to mitigate the mud, but
the rain was just so much.
Thank goodness for my my boots on Sunday and Dan's sneakers that we put in a dryer. But then
I forgot to mention that I like ran over to the Brunt tent where the Brunt boys were parked. So Brunt is there, and they have a 30-foot long trailer they're pulling with their Ford F-350. It's all Brunt decked out, And I was like, look, it's raining, it's pouring, I'm wearing these stupid shoes, my feet are soaking wet. I will pay 5 times over market value for a pair of boots right now if you have them. No, we didn't bring any boots. Like, what,
Ah,
you didn't bring boots? How do you not bring boots? I would have paid for them right
hey,
now.
listen, they brought
lasers.
the laser tent. So they had a tent where they were lasering hat logos.
Yes, if you're watching the video.
Yeah. And then they were also
they were
brought
just giving
over
out
the
laser
axe
patched
throwing.
hats.
Yeah,
Nice
no,
hats too, I might add.
Brun came in hot. I gotta give
real
them
nice hats.
credit.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was
Skip.
it was crazy. It was a fun day. But like, so there was a woodworking tent, a plasma cutting and powder coating tent, where you can like get ornaments or you can get a piece. There's always like a project. Like Maker Camp is cool because like you can go to the plasma cutting station, get blanks, go to the grinding tent, literally like benchmark, or no, it was I'm blanking on their name, but there was like grinder.
Broderick.
Broderick, was that what
I
it
don't
is?
know. I
I'm
can't remember.
blanking on it. I feel bad. But like they have a bunch of grinders, like really nice metal grinder. Excuse me, metal grinders with the ones with the big belts on them. You grind the metal down, you bring it over to the you can do powder coating, or you can bring it over to the metal blacksmithing tent, and you blacksmith this stuff and put a pin in there, and you actually have pliers at the end, so you can like use them for blacksmithing or whatever. There's also the welding tent, jewelry making tent. They were cutting
Axe
slabs.
handles.
What is it? Oh, axe handles. Yeah, like Braden and Dan went to the axe tent or booth or whatever.
Broadbeck.
Broadback. Thank you.
Yes.
So you guys, Dan got a little knife thing,
I got a tiny
cleaver knife?
cleaver.
Like a tiny murder cleaver.
Yeah.
It's a nice
Like
little
that was
murder
definitely
cleaver.
used in a crime.
And then Braden, you got like a nice double-headed axe that I cut the handle off of so I could ship it to you because you forgot you didn't check a bag.
I was so determined, like, okay, I did this at Workbench Con too, and it's like every time I go to these things, I get so caught up in I just want to hang out with my friends, I want to meet everybody, and there's so many people that you can talk to people nonstop, and I was like, it's Maker Camp, I'm going to make something, I'm going to do something, I don't care what it is, I'm going to do something. Naturally, I picked the thing that they're like, hey, you're going to be like 5 hours into this. I'm like, nope.
It's like an 8-hour project.
I'm not going to be doing that, but I now own an axe.
Yeah.
So I cleaned it up, and then I got to try and like look at the handles, and then my axe had metal, like
Pins?
metal pin things to hold the
wedges.
Yeah. And so they wouldn't bandsaw it. They said I had to go find a way to grind through it in case the metal.
I ran it through my bandsaw because I'm not a coward.
Well, they were.
Can you guys hear the rain at my house right now?
No, don't.
Yeah, I just went through it. It was Maker Camp Saturday.
I'm in New Jersey.
It sounds like there's an elephant
lunatics.
pissing.
What are you
None
talking
of our
about?
listeners can relate. Stop talking
What
about
are you talking about? You're on 80 surrounded by corn. You're here.
Anyway, it's pouring right now.
But anyway, so
Little
they sent me on like a goose chase of how to get this handle out, and I made it to the Lincoln tent to maybe angle grind it out, and then I stood there and it was packed, and I realized that this was going to be just like every other project that I've ever started. I'm gonna get like 50 to 80% into it, and then I'm gonna go get distracted by something else. And that's when I carried around a nicely cleaned up but shoddily kind of like falling apart axe for the rest of the day.
I think of all of us, like Emma had the best shot with the axe, like best photo or video. She's just like holding it. We're just doing a story like, all right, the guys are heading out. Keith is here. He's leaving too. And like, why does Emma have an axe? It just worked out. But that was fun. I'm gonna try to get the pin out just to cut the weight on it. I'm gonna try to get the pins out and clean it up for you, and the cleaver, and then Dan's sock.
One sock.
One
singular
sock.
I need that sock.
Fine. I know it's only you only have one set.
That's his snack sock. That's what he keeps like trail mix.
You don't want to know what I do with that sock, but let's just say it stands up on its own at the end of the day.
Pete, please put that in a different box than my stuff.
Lonely. I'll put it in a biohazard bag. But like, so like the last day was great. It was a real bummer to lose Saturday. Going back to Maker Camp, now that we're done talking about socks. It was a bummer to lose Saturday because like Sunday, and we kind of mentioned this in the beginning, this is becoming a more broad event. Like more people are getting invited to it or coming to it. And I brought this up to the guys. I was like, did you guys notice there was more like wives there? They're like, yeah. But I'm like, no. I mean like girly girls. Cause like, and I was trying to put this tactfully, like, the maker girls, they all have a thing about them. Like they all got like a hard cap or like overalls or like Brut boots on or something. They all have like one thing that like really throws a curveball. And you're like, yeah, that girl makes. I get it. But like there was like pretty girly girl wives that were like wearing nice boots and like fuzzy something on something. And I was like, oh my God, the wives are finally coming out. It's not just like there was a bunch of kids too. Like a bunch of the makers brought their kids, and they were first of all adorable because there was like only like 6 or 7 of them, and they're all best friends the whole entire weekend.
They just instantly became best friends.
Yeah,
they were all playing together. It was so fun.
Really, the theme of Maker Camp. We were all best friends. I wish I could make best friends that easily in life. But like the makers brought their kids. The kids just played together, and then there was like wives that are not involved in the making, like Emma, very much involved in Awakening. Like Priscilla and Luke, they're both involved in it. You have couples like Carlina and Pat, like they're very involved in it. They're both part of it. But then there was just wives that have like nothing to do with making. Like they're just happy you're happy in a shop. They don't care about it. They were there to support. And like that's when I realized, like, wow, this event is growing. This is finally becoming like a non-small group of weird makers on the internet event. So keep an eye out for next year because it's going to grow bigger, and make sure you get into those classes before they fill up.
Apparently, the Blackthorn Resort is already sold out of rooms for next year.
What? That's crazy.
That's what I heard.
Oh my God.
That was like 2 days ago.
Yeah. Because people are just booking as they check out. So keep that in mind.
Smart.
I mean, it's just an event that's going to grow and grow and grow. So if you want to come, you should come next year.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. And then we drove back to Jersey. Was there anything else we missed? Not really.
Yeah. What did we do instead of ribs?
Oh, we went.
I can't tell if he's doing a bit or not.
No, it's just me kind of going through the weekend. Well, before we get to the ribs, instead of the barbecue and the closing ceremony, we did something just as good, if not better. Jimmy gave us full reign, just like, hey, go to my shop.
How did I forget that?
Here's where it is. Go check it out. And
don't steal anything.
And this is just my personal thing with it. Like I walked in, Dan found the lights, turned all the lights on, and I almost went down to my knees. I was just like staring speechless at this place. And definitely not holding back tears because I'm a grown man. Yeah. But like, I was just looking around like, oh my God, we're doing things wrong. We need to reevaluate our life. Why can we not do this? I was speechless. Like, I was just like, this is the best thing ever.
It was probably the quietest our group had been the entire weekend.
I might get heat for this, but like, I feel like Jimmy's shop is like maker mecca. Like it's a place
we came in, we touched every tool.
Yeah. They had a kneeling wall and everything. Like it was a religious experience. It was crazy. And it's such a beautiful shop.
All of the hype is real of like Jimmy does everything. Like we walked around and like everything, every practice is represented, from lasers to CNCs to plasma cutters to woodworking to grinders to welding to everything. Like
sewing.
To like sewing, like leather make, like and like heavy duty, like the kind of machines that could like put a thread through a quarter, like the heavy duty stuff too. And we're like, first reaction was like, this place is crazy. It's so messy. And then it's like, no, he's got every discipline in here. And the funny thing is, that's now like the shop. It used to be the barn. Now that's a shop, and he's building another barn behind his shop. It's crazy. And
it's all stick framed. It's all not stick framed. It's all what's the word I'm looking for? Old school timber frame. Yes,
timber frame. Oh, actually traditional timber frame. Like what they do every year. Like this whole barn is legitimately timber frame construction
And it's no
amazing.
small barn. I mean, it's a legit large
Oh,
barn.
it's a big boy. And then we also saw the full size version of the Welcome All Makers sign, which like as we're about to walk out, and I go, this orange cord is just sitting on the floor. What does it go to? It goes to the sign. I plug it into the wall and the whole thing lights up, the lights dim. I'm like, oh my God. So we all started taking new photos because we gotta.
Yeah, you gotta take a picture by the maker sign.
So it was amazing.
Everything's content.
But a throwback to the Welcome All Makers sign. The maker swap was happening on Sunday, and some people like Scott from Crabtree Creations, like he made a small version of that sign.
Yeah, he actually
made
made two.
He made one for himself and then one for the maker swap, and somebody got that sign. Some of the maker swap items were like, my brain can't even fathom how that stuff was made.
Right. I thought about taking a maker swap item, but it would have been just like a really basic tray that I made.
You gotta make it worth it, like real cool stuff.
It would have looked really pathetic and be like, oh, Dunlap made this. Wow, he used
an epoxy zero clearance insert, but this one's got glitter.
Zero clearance insert for Delta table saw. Can't use because I have a saw stop. Cool.
Yeah, some of the items in the maker swap are phenomenal. It's mind boggling the time people put into those.
Yeah,
3D.
Kudos to everybody who participated.
His Jimmy DeRessa action figure package was phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Oh, that was like
I thought he had that
level.
outsourced. He actually did all the work. Oh my God, it was so good. So good. But yeah, man, that was so cool. And then after that, we drove home, and then Monday we had ribs, and I drove the guys to the airport.
Yeah, Monday was gonna be our like slow chill day, but we kind of took our time.
Oh yeah, Dan, you did some stuff.
We kind of took our time and like having breakfast and just chilling, and then Pete and I found our way out to his shop. I think Braden was actually working, quote unquote working. Is that accurate?
I was working remotely, but I was working remotely from my normal remotely working job.
Yes. So I took some measurements real fast. I took some measurements. I can't measurements. I don't know why people give me a hard time. That's how you say it. I took some measurements on Pete's PM2000, his Powermatic table saw, and whipped up a quick ZCI for it. Took a few iterations, but I got it, and that was my day. Plus, it gave me a new listing to put on Etsy. So,
yeah, I think the biggest issue you had is the fact that you went with
forgot
Imperial.
to mirror it.
Well, not just mirror it, but like you used Imperial instead of metric to design
I used
it.
the one true measurement. Yes. Imperial.
I love that Morgan Hop called you out on that.
He sent that to me before he posted. He goes, "Is this cool?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's hilarious." Posted
amazing. Measure.
Yeah.
Monday
was supposed to be a chill day, but it turned into oh God, we got to hurry up and get all these things done because we're running out of time.
Like chill morning until 1 o'clock, and I was like, oh my God, I looked at my to-do list. I'm like, oh snap, I have a lot of stuff to do. And then I was like rushing to get orders out from the weekend, and it was like, oh wait, it's Columbus Day, they're closed. So we rushed for no reason. And then like Keith was coming over, and like he needed some stuff laser cut. It was a whole like busy day, and I'm like, I stressed for no reason. This is stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we did that, because last year we rushed straight from Maker Camp. We missed the ceremony.
Straight to the
rushing
airport.
Straight to the airport.
Literally no stop.
Yeah. No, we needed that extra day to just like relax. Next year we can figure out when you guys want to fly out, whatever. But like, it's a bummer though. Braden had to work.
I won't be as green next year. I might be able to actually take time off. So I'll do it anyway.
Honestly, fine. Wednesday night to Monday at any time is the
Monday afternoon.
The way to do it. Yeah, like afternoon, but
I'm not a
like,
morning person.
No, not morning, but like 1 o'clock flight to like 8 o'clock flight. Good.
I felt still pretty good about this time. Dan and we are not great at figuring out when our flights should depart, like at the end of events. Like we either stay way, way, way too long or like way too early. So we're getting better.
You're good though. Because listen, last year Dan flew to Kansas City or whatever case.
Yeah, me and Nick Brim flew to Kansas City because that was a direct flight.
But you got there at like 12:30 and then had to
12:30
drive.
a.m. from Kansas City, 2.5 hour drive back to Omaha. Didn't get home until whatever that math is. It was awful. Awful.
He texted me at like 3 a.m. like, finally home. Like, oh my God, dude.
It was
It's
awful.
awful. Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna be
when you
honest,
guys
if-
left,
if-
that was great because you were right in Omaha. You're done. Whatever. So
Yeah, Dan, if you suggest we fly into Kansas City, I will be booking my own flight just
Oh
directly
no, I
to
will never
LaGuardia.
suggest that. However, I will say we didn't even look at Lincoln's airport. That's actually an option these days.
oh, is it really?
Lincoln has an airport?
Yeah, they're like really building it up. We should look into that next time. I don't know. Maybe they'll have a direct flight that's a little bit better to Newark or something. Remember that. Mental note.
That was
Lincoln.
a crazy in-depth, like that was over an hour recap.
Yeah,
of just Maker
I'm
Camp. That's great.
afraid we don't have time for what's on the bench.
No, what's on a bench, but let's get through our questions. They're gonna be quick
Right.
answers. I feel good about that. What's on the bench? We've been catching up on our freaking lives because we've been away for
Oh,
4 days.
right.
Yeah. So let's get into Toma sending a quick question.
Hey guys, I was wondering at Maker Camp, with all that rain, did anyone made an arch? An arch or an arc? You know, the boat with Noah and everything. Also, who is the most inspiring person you met there this year? Alright, have a good podcast.
All right. So this question is: with all the rain, did anyone make an arc? And who's the most inspirational person that you met? So Dan, you want to go first?
An arc would have been an excellent thing to make, but I don't think anybody made one.
Oh.
I'm sure jokes were made. Lots of jokes were made, but no arcs were made.
Total Boat literally had a boat in their
But you
tent.
can't call that an arc.
It would have
It's an
saved
arc
at
for
least
like
two people.
3 people.
Not an
You
arc.
went- Fits 2 people, a little bit of food, just enough to
Okay, we had a
repopulate the
small
earth.
boat. All right. As far as like inspiring people, like we already talked about it a little bit. Jimmy holds that title. After seeing his shop in person and
Never
seeing
heard of
what
him.
he's achieved and what he's like done with his life and what he continues to do, like that guy has all my inspiration. Like I am in awe at Jimmy. So that's my guy. And I'm sorry if I took your answer. But that's why I wanted to go first, because I figured y'all are gonna say it.
Brandon?
I mean, yeah, Jimmy DiResta is like the godfather of making. Like, he's Jimmy freaking DiResta, and he's absolutely inspirational. I think it's phenomenal. I worship everything that he does. But I'm gonna be honest, the other kind of inspiring side to me, and the thing that I really like about Maker Camp, even more so than Workbench, is getting to meet with people that have smaller businesses that are like just seeing everybody grow from April to now, or from last year to now, watching Patrick Genzel grow, watching Colton grow, watching Malcolm grow in their craft and in their art and in their businesses. I mean, since we saw Patrick at Workbench, he went from having like 5,000 followers to like he shot over 100,000 followers on Instagram. Yeah. And to me, it's so inspiring to be around people that are doing exactly what we are doing, and seeing them grow is, to me, it's so invigorating. Like, I come home and I'm just like, okay, how do I catch up to my peers? Because they're doing it. I know I can do it. So let's go. So that's it. Everybody inspires me.
Man, now I just feel like a douchebag. Pete?
What a lame answer.
But also Jimmy DiResta, like, come on.
Right. After seeing that shop, I just
you see what's
mind-boggled.
possible. And Dan, I think we were both in the same class of like Jimmy talking about how he built it.
Yeah,
right?
we were.
Yeah, so
Workbench Con 2 years ago.
That's 2 years ago. Yeah. I'm kind of gonna piggyback off of Braden's thing, but like it just seeing the progress of everyone, like, and it not only just the progress, but seeing the people that I follow that I'm like, man, they are absolutely killing it, and seeing them being more human in person, because like, you know, Instagram reality, it's a thing. So like talking to like Carlina and Pat, and they're talking about like all the stress and everything of like getting that new space, but like
Who's Carlene and Pat for those who don't know?
Pine Barren Pallet Works. So they're in South Jersey, our southern friends there. So like they're, you know, they're killing it. They are killing it, and they look like they're killing it. But like there's a lot of stress behind the scenes that they're experiencing. I had a whole big, you know, deep heart talk with Pat and Carlina about like all the stress, all this stuff. Like, guys, don't worry about the stuff that's behind the scenes, like how other people look like they're succeeding, because there's a lot of stress that goes into all this that we do. And like seeing what Jimmy's built and like what the potential is and how loosey-goosey he is about all of it now, but also as loosey-goosey as he is, he was basically running back and forth between the shop and Maker Camp. At one point we were like, oh, we're gonna head to your shop, and he's like, this is the first time I've actually like parked my car here, like be like to relax. I'm like, yeah, go do your thing. We're gonna go over to your shop and like not steal anything. That was his one stipulation. That's literally all he told us. But then, yeah. But like, you know, seeing like Tiff run like the Sabretooth tent. One of our one of my oldest friends on Instagram, another old friends like Jackman, Paul Jackman, you know, I always talk about him. Like he was a big idol of mine. Now he's a good friend of mine, and him and Pat Lapp running like the carving and turning area and like have the big trailer, whatever. And like going over to Onefinity and seeing Stone and Morgan Hop there. And like, they're like, just, they talk to us like we're old war buddies. Like we've known each other for years. Seeing Brandy from, I'm blanking on the name because it's a very French Louisiana sounding last name. Please look up the last name, but like Brandy,
I don't know if I'll be able to say it.
Last year, she was supporting, helping out with the Lincoln tent. And I was like, we got to get you in. You're a girl, you're in welding. You are the demographic they're trying to reach.
Not even close.
And what is it?
Brandy Guidry Abe?
Abe. Yes, Abe. What's her account? Abe Creations, or I'm blanking on it. But like Brandy's like was like helping out with it. Now she was like running that tent with Luke and a bunch of other people, like Lucas from Man-Made Creations. He's another one. He's like rebranded, like
Studio Abe.
Studio Abe. Thank you. He leaned into that. Then you got PL Smith from Lucas and Priscilla. They're killing it. Like watching. I'm name dropping a lot of people, but it's like the people that we saw. They came up with us. A lot of them. Like we saw them grow. We saw Dre like want to work with Total Boat. Now she was like the featured table at Total Boat. It's really awesome to see all these people like rise up. So there was no like one one person that I was like looking up to. Is all these people watching them that are what I consider my level with us, like running that event, making it happen. So, and as far as the arc, yeah, Total Boat had a boat. Not a boat. Not an arc. But then they made a bunch of little boats for little like mice to survive the flood.
True. So we have a written in question from Frank over at Silent Mars Workshop. He says, I wanted to get your guys' take on ROAS, which is return on ads spend on Etsy. Is it a percentage? If so, what is a good percentage to keep advertising the product, and when do you not? I'm going to be perfectly honest. I have never heard of ROAS. Not one time. So I don't even know where to look for that.
Well, Dan, what is your return on your investment in your advertising on Etsy?
Well, I haven't run the numbers, but it's good. I would imagine. I'm not losing money. I'm doing okay. So
Frank, I don't think it's like a percentage, but like,
no, I haven't even looked at those numbers. I'm not a numbers guy.
We'd have to consult with the marketing departments of each of our shops.
Yeah.
Braden, do you do advertising on Etsy?
I do like $1 a day sort of thing. I just throw it in.
Yeah. So one thing you could do is Etsy Plus, and I think that does like $10 a month.
Oh yeah, I don't do Etsy Plus, so I don't get all those deep cut like numbers and analytics and stuff. So
yeah, well, like that's one way to like dip your toes into it. You can get Etsy Plus, you get some free listings. They basically cost you like $5 a month. and you get some prioritized listings, which I don't know how true that is. But you get some free listings and you get some advertising credit that you can use. That being said, if you have no sales, advertising is not gonna necessarily sell more things. So I just want to say that for everyone that's like, oh, I'm just starting an Etsy, I'm gonna go right into ads. Like, no, your SEO, your tags, the wording, the photos, that's all gonna sell your stuff first.
SEO, social media marketing. I mean, you
Search
gotta be
engine
on
optimization.
your game.
Yeah. Because if
before
you're
you even start doing ads.
exactly, yeah. So like if you don't have a baseline, ads aren't gonna do anything. So keep that in mind. Because like you could say I want $50 a day, and Etsy's gonna finish the day with $3 used. Because they didn't feel your information worthy enough to serve it. Like I went to like $10 a day at some point, and it wasn't using up the entire budget per day. Because it was like, we can't show this stuff. Even
Right.
Etsy was like, come on, guy. Like, look at your stuff. Get your stuff together. So keep that in mind. So you want to build up some kind of click-through rate or CPM. What is it? Click per whatever. Like you want to have a good click-through rate. You want to have a good good advertising leading to that. Some link click coming from Pinterest, TikTok, Etsy, whatever. And then you can grow. So don't think that's the saving grace for growing your account. Would you agree, Dan?
Agreed.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot to add to that. Pete nailed it. Good job.
Sorry, that was a lot. That was a long
That's it.
episode.
I believe the complete opposite of everything that you just said.
Okay, cool.
Don't advertise.
No, advertise, but don't do it right away. I mean, it's just not worth it, I don't think, unless you're actually making sales on your own. You can't rely on Etsy to do it for you if you just toss money at to them. It's just not going to work.
There's
You're
no
just going to be
percentage.
disappointed.
Look at the numbers. It tells you literally how much you're spending and how much you're making. And if the numbers don't even out, there's no point. Dial it back or dial it up if you're selling a lot. So that's it.
My numbers are good. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with it.
Speaking of good numbers, we should wrap up this episode.
Yeah, let's give another shout out to our patrons, shall we?
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody who supports this little venture that we do. Everybody that's in the Met Army. If you are interested in joining said army, you can go to patreon.com/anotherwoodshop podcast and sign up on one of our many tiers. I think there are 4 of them.
Secret 5th tier.
There is a secret 5th tier that I just learned about today. I won't tell you what it is. You got to go
You'll
find
have
out.
to find out. Yep.
And thank you to everybody who listens and shares the show and just supports us in other ways, like making t-shirts. And this community is just so damn unbelievable. And now that I'm talking like this, I am changing my answer. This whole community is inspiring to me. Every one of you.
Cop-out answer.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to Jimmy and let him know that you changed your answer.
He's just doing that for follows.
Hey, if you want to continue supporting us, you can always share the show, like and follow our podcast account for it, leave us a review, all that stuff. We appreciate every little bit.
Right on.
Podcast now on Yelp.
We actually do have a Yelp account.
We've actually been on Yelp for a while.
Yeah.
So Braden,
we have a
with
Yelp
that.
review account.
Yep. We're a recording
It's a
studio.
radio
based out of
station in Omaha.
Yeah. No, we're laughing, but no, it's like been
True.
3
True
years.
Fact. We haven't looked at the reviews.
We don't F around, Braden. We have a Yelp. We have an Urban Dictionary. Look it up.
We do. Nebraska Scissor.
No, I'm not joking. Bing it.
Okay. We're at the Bing references.
Yeah,
Time
we had
quits.
like a running joke for a while of just like being on every platform. It failed semi-miserably.
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys all next week. Make sure to share the show, and like Dan said, we love you all. Love you. Bye.
Back to your regularly, I can't say that word,
regularly
scheduled programming next
Dan,
week.
Say municipality.
Nope. Municipal. Oh.
And Dan had a stroke. Good night, guys.
Regular measure.
Measure.
The rural juror.
And I guess check out Sawdust Talk on
Yeah.
Instagram on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. just to
Check
warm
it.
you up for Thursday.
Check it out on the other podcast platforms. It's better there because you can't see us.
Love you. Bye.
All right, everybody. Love you long time. And